Stop scrolling right now, Chosen One. Do not dare skip this video, because this moment is not a coincidence. It is a direct divine appointment. I need to speak directly to your spirit, because I know exactly where you were last night. Exactly at 3 a.m. this morning, you were lying awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if God had finally forgotten you in the trenches. You felt a sudden, overwhelming heaviness in your chest, an urge to give up that didn't make any sense. You have been feeling like the outlier, the black sheep of your family for so long, constantly misunderstood and isolated. But listen to me closely. That pain wasn't random. You thought that heaviness was just depression, anxiety, or bad luck. No, beloved, that was the enemy trying to silence you because he is terrified of who you are becoming. While you slept, a massive decision was made about your destiny. You are not being punished for your past. You are actually undergoing a massive spiritual system update. That isolation you feel wasn't rejection. It was divine protection to keep you safe until you were ready. The Heavenly Council met last night, and they weren't discussing your failures. They were reviewing your receipts. They looked at every time you chose integrity over revenge, every tear you cried in secret, and they reached a verdict. Congratulations. You have passed the test that breaks 98% of the population. You proved that you are built different. The attacks were heavy because your assignment is heavy, but the battle is over. This video is your official confirmation that your timeline shift has begun. If you are finally ready to leave the wilderness and step boldly into your vindication season, I need you to make a prophetic act right now. Type 1727 in the comments to signal to the heavens that you are ready to receive your reward. Let me ask you something that has been haunting you for years. Why did it have to be this hard? Why did it seem like every time you took one step forward, life knocked you 2 steps back? You have looked at other people who lie, people who cheat, people who don't pray half as much as you do, and you see them prospering. You see them sailing through life while you are drowning in what feels like bad luck. It hurts. I know it hurts. You have cried into your pillow asking God, "What did I do wrong? Why have you forgotten me?" But I am here to tell you the truth that nobody else has told you. You weren't doing anything wrong. You weren't being punished, and you certainly weren't forgotten. You were being tested. You didn't know it was a test. That is why it was so painful. If you had known it was just an exam, you wouldn't have worried so much. But the authorities, the Heavenly Council, they were conducting pressure testing on your soul. They had to be silent. They had to hide their face from you, because a teacher is always silent during the test. Now, I want to walk you through exactly what happened. I want to do an autopsy on your pain so you can see it for what it really was. When you understand the sophistication of this test, you are going to be shocked. You are going to realize that your life hasn't been a tragedy. It has been a training ground. They weren't testing your ability to be perfect. Any fake person can pretend to be perfect when the lights are on and people are watching. No. They were testing something much rarer. They were testing your integrity when nobody was watching. Think back. Go back in your memory with me. Remember that time you were going through a financial crisis. I'm talking about when the bills were piled up on the kitchen counter and you didn't know where the grocery money was coming from. And suddenly an opportunity appeared. It was a way to make quick money. Maybe it was a way to cut a corner. Maybe it was an opportunity to lie on a form or to take something that wasn't yours. Nobody would have known. You could have done it. You could have justified it by saying you were desperate, but you didn't. You chose the hard road. You chose to struggle rather than to steal. You chose to suffer rather than to lie. Do you realize how rare that is? Most people fail that test. 98% of people compromise when they get scared. But you held on to your values. That was the moment you proved you possess a top 1% mindset. You proved that your character is not for sale. And let's go deeper. Let's talk about the mercy test. You have walked a path that nobody else in your family understands. You are the outlier. You are the one who broke the mold. While your cousins and your friends were out partying, living for the weekend, chasing superficial things, you were in the trenches. You were at home. You were reading. You were praying. You were crying out to God. You were doing the shadow work. Shadow work is not easy. It is looking at your own pain and healing it. It is forgiving people who never said sorry. It is breaking the generational curses that have plagued your bloodline for decades. You looked at the alcoholism in your family and said, "It stops with me." You looked at the divorce and the anger in your family and said, "It stops with me." You looked at the poverty mindset and said, "It stops with me." That is lonely work. It requires isolation. That is why you felt set apart. You have a Sigma mindset, a holy separation. You weren't antisocial. You were just vibrating at a frequency that they couldn't reach. You felt like you were missing out. You saw them having fun on social media, looking happy, and you wondered if you were doing it wrong. But let me tell you, they were building castles on sand. You were digging a foundation in solid rock. You refused to compromise your values for a quick dollar. You refused to sell your soul for popularity. That is why you are a high-value individual in the spirit realm. Do you know what a high-value individual is to God? It isn't about how much money is in your bank account. It is about how much light your soul can hold. And because you did the work in the dark, because you passed the test in the wilderness, you have accumulated a massive amount of equity in the heavens. You have built a spiritual asset that no thief can steal, and no moth can destroy. You have paid your dues. You have walked through the valley of the shadow of death. And you kept walking. You didn't set up camp there. You kept moving. And now you are at the end of the valley. The authorities have finished their evaluation. The test papers have been graded. The system update is complete. You are probably feeling tired right now, deeply tired in your bones. That is normal. That is spiritual exhaustion from holding up the weight of the world for so long. But rest easy, warrior. You can put the shield down for a moment, because the fighting part is over. You have proven yourself. You have shown that you can be trusted with power. You have shown that you can be trusted with a blessing. Most people, if you gave them $1 million or massive influence, it would destroy them. Their character wouldn't be able to handle the weight of the blessing. They would become arrogant. They would become cruel. But not you. God knows that if He blesses you, you will use it to bless others. He knows that if He heals you, you will show others how to be healed. He knows that you are safe. That is why you passed. You're about to move from the season of testing into the season of reward. The NPCs are being deactivated. The gatekeepers are being removed. The energy vampires are fleeing because they can't stand the light that is starting to shine from you. So take a deep breath. Release the tension in your shoulders. Stop trying to figure out why it happened. It happened to make you into this, the person you are right now, strong, resilient, faithful. The autopsy is finished. The cause of death for your old life was a divine setup for a resurrection. You survived the test. Now, get ready for the testimony, because what comes next? What comes next is going to make every single tear worth it. You are about to see why you had to go through it alone. You are about to understand the power of the shift that is happening right now. Get ready. The report is in, and the verdict is victory. Now, we need to talk about the results. You have been waiting. I know you have. You have been waiting for a sign. You have been waiting for someone to tell you that you aren't crazy. You have been waiting to hear that all those years of suffering weren't for nothing. Well, the wait is over. The authorities have finished their review. The meeting is adjourned, and I am here to deliver the official verdict to your spirit. I want you to listen closely, beloved. I want you to really hear this. This is what the council recorded about you. They opened the book of your life. They looked at the chapters you were too ashamed to read out loud. They looked at the nights you cried yourself to sleep. They looked at the moments you wanted to give up, but kept going anyway. And this is what they concluded. First, They noted your remarkable resistance to corruption. This is a big one. They looked at the fire you walked through, and let's be honest, it was a fire. It was hot. It burned. People lied about you. People betrayed you. The world gave you every single reason to become a bitter, angry woman. You had every right to turn your heart into stone. You had every right to become just as toxic as the people who hurt you. But you didn't. You walked through the fire, and you came out the other side, and you didn't even smell like smoke. You kept your heart soft. You kept your spirit gentle. You maintained your kindness, even when the world was cruel. That is a miracle. Do you understand that? That is a spiritual miracle. That is the definition of main character energy. The villain gets bitter, the hero gets better, and you got better. Second, they highlighted your moral consistency. This is what separates the top 1% from everyone else. The authorities watched you when you were at church, raising your hands in worship. And then they watched you when you were at the grocery store, tired and frustrated. And they saw the same person. You are authentic. You don't wear a mask. You are the same woman in the dark as you are in the light. Most people are actors. They perform for an audience. But you live for an audience of one. You live for God. That kind of consistency is rare. It is precious. It proves that your values aren't just something you say. They are who you are. Third, and this is the one that really tipped the scales in your favor, they recognized your active integrity. It wasn't just that you avoided doing bad things, it was that you actively did good things, even when there was no reward, even when nobody said thank you. Remember when you helped that person who couldn't pay you back? Remember when you listened to that friend for hours, even though you were exhausted? Remember when you gave your last dollar to someone who needed it more? You thought nobody saw that. You thought it went unnoticed. But heaven saw it. Every act of kindness was a deposit. Every time you did good without expecting a return, you were building a spiritual asset. You were accumulating compound interest in the kingdom. You were creating an infinite ROI, an infinite return on investment that is about to pay out. You have built a surplus of favor, and that surplus is about to flood your life. Now, I need to address something sensitive. Something that has caused you a lot of pain. We need to talk about your loneliness. For years, you have felt like you don't fit in. You go to family gatherings, and you feel like a stranger. You go to work, and you feel like you are speaking a different language. You look at your siblings, your old friends, and you feel a distance. You have called yourself the black sheep. You have called yourself the outcast. You have wondered, what is wrong with me? Why can't I just be like them? Let me tell you the truth. There is nothing wrong with you. The world might call you a loner. The internet might say you have a Sigma mindset, but heaven calls you set apart. You don't fit in because you were never meant to fit in. You were made to stand out. You were made to lead. You were made to break the mold. You belong to the inner circle of the divine. Think about it. Eagles don't fly in flocks. They fly alone. Or they fly with other eagles. You have been trying to fly with pigeons, and you wonder why you are frustrated. You wonder why you feel misunderstood. It is because you are built different. You are an outlier, and that is not a curse. That is a classification. The reason you couldn't settle for a normal life is that you have a higher calling. The reason you couldn't accept the fake relationships is that your spirit demands truth. The reason you couldn't just go along to get along is that you are a high-value individual who values truth over comfort. So please, stop apologizing for being different. Stop trying to shrink yourself to fit into places you have outgrown. Your separation was necessary. It was a holy quarantine. God had to isolate you to insulate you. He had to pull you away from the crowd so he could speak to you without interruption. Your loneliness was actually a VIP room. It was exclusive access to the Creator. And now, because you embraced that separation, because you passed the tests, because you kept your heart pure, we arrive at the most important moment, The verdict. 3 days ago, in spiritual time, a decision was made. Your status has been officially changed in the cosmic registry. For the last few years, your file was stamped with the words, "Candidate under evaluation." That is why life was hard. That is why you faced obstacle after obstacle. You were in the testing lab, you were in the simulator, but as of right now, that stamp has been removed. A new stamp has been placed on your file, and it says, Authorized Agent. Do you understand what this means? This is huge. This is a quantum leap in your existence. You are no longer a student. You are a graduate. You are no longer being tested. You are being trusted. You have been promoted. This means the system update is complete. The software of your soul has been upgraded. You are now operating on a higher frequency. You are operating in God mode. And when you operate in this mode, things change. The rules of reality change for you. You are going to notice something shifting in the atmosphere. The heavy resistance you have felt for years, it is going to lift. It has to lift, because an authorized agent doesn't need to be tested anymore. An authorized agent needs to be supported. The universe has received a new command regarding you. The command is, assist her. The obstacles that were placed in your path are being removed. They have served their purpose. The gatekeepers who blocked your way are being dismissed. The doors that were locked are clicking open. This is a timeline shift. You are stepping out of the timeline of struggle and into the timeline of flow. You are stepping out of the timeline of lack and into the timeline of abundance. You have paid your karmic debt. You have learned your lessons. You have broken the cycles. You are the cycle breaker for your entire bloodline. And because you broke the cycle is no longer breaking you. I want you to feel the relief of that. I want you to feel the weight dropping off your shoulders. You don't have to fight for every inch anymore. You don't have to prove yourself anymore. You have the receipts. You have the proof. You are approved. You are validated. You are chosen. This promotion comes with benefits. It comes with divine immunity. It means that the weapon formed against you will not prosper. It means that when people try to lay traps for you, they will fall into them themselves. It means that you have a hedge of protection around you that is stronger than steel. You have graduated from the school of hard knocks, and you graduated with honors. The authorities looked at your life, they looked at your heart, and they said, she is ready. Give her the resources, give her the connections, give her the peace. The level up has begun. It isn't coming next year. It isn't coming next month. It is happening right now. As you hear my voice, your spirit is aligning with this new truth. You are not the victim anymore. You never were. You were just a warrior in training. And now you are a warrior in command. So, straighten your crown. Dry your eyes, because the weeping endured for a night, but joy is coming in the morning. And beloved, the sun is just starting to rise. You made it. You really made it. Welcome to the inner circle. Welcome to your new life. And now, we arrive at the moment you have been praying for. We arrive at the season of the harvest. You have heard people talk about harvest for years. You have sat in church and heard sermons about reaping what you sow. You have seen other people get their blessings. You have seen other people get their breakthroughs, and you sat there clapping for them while your own heart was breaking. You wondered when it would be your turn. You wondered if God had run out of blessings before he got to you. I am here to tell you that your turn is not coming. Your turn is here because you passed the test, because you held on to your integrity when it cost you everything. The floodgates are opening. This is not just a small shift. This is a vindication season. Vindication means that you don't have to defend yourself anymore. It means that God is clearing your name. It means that the truth is coming out. Not because you shouted it, but because the fruit of your life is undeniable. Let's talk about the practical changes. Let's talk about what this looks like in your daily reality, starting right now. First, you are going to experience the automatic removal of obstacles. For the last few years, it felt like you were walking through mud. Every simple task was a struggle. Every form of paperwork had an error. Every plan had a delay. Every relationship had drama. It felt like there was an invisible wall stopping you from moving forward. That wall was part of the test. It was resistance training for your faith. But now, that wall has been demolished. You are going to notice a flow that scares you at first. You will go to do something that is usually hard and it will be easy. You will make a phone call that usually goes to voicemail and they will pick up on the first ring. You will apply for something that usually gets rejected and you will get approved. This is your divine immunity kicking in. Think of it like a force field. The stress that used to penetrate your life is bouncing off. And let's talk about your body. Let's talk about your health. Many of you listening to me right now have physical symptoms that doctors cannot explain. You have chronic fatigue, you have aches in your joints, you have stomach issues, you have migraines that won't go away. I want you to know something. That is not just aging, that is the physical manifestation of carrying a heavy spiritual load. That is the cost of being in the trenches for too long. Your body has been stuck in survival mode. Your nervous system has been fried by the cortisol of constant battles. But because the test is over, the pressure is lifting. And when the pressure lifts, the body heals. You are going to sleep through the night for the first time in years. The knot in your stomach is going to untie itself. The heaviness in your chest is going to evaporate. You are going to take a deep breath, and it will feel like oxygen is finally reaching your soul. This is the removal of the physical blockage. And then there is the financial blockage. I know you have struggled. I know you have counted pennies. I know you have had to say no to things you needed because the math didn't add up. You have sown so many seeds. You have given when you didn't have it. You have tithed when it hurt. You have been generous even when you were broke. You thought those seeds died in the ground. They didn't die. They were just germinating. And now comes the infinite ROI. The infinite return on investment. God is not a debtor. He doesn't owe anyone anything. And he is about to pay you back for everything the enemy stole. The Bible says that the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. You are about to see resources come from unexpected places, checks in the mail you didn't anticipate, debts are being cancelled, promotions that you didn't apply for. This isn't luck, this is the universe balancing the books. You have a massive credit in your spiritual account, and the deposit is hitting your reality. Now, we need to talk about the part that everyone wants to know about. We need to talk about justice. We need to talk about the people who hurt you, the matrix agents, the ones who lied, the ones who cheated, the ones who smeared your name. For a long time, it looked like they were winning. It looked like they got away with it. They moved on. They looked happy. They looked successful. And you sat there in the rubble of what they destroyed, crying out for justice. You wanted to fight them. You wanted to expose them. You wanted to show the world who they really were. But you didn't. You held your peace. And because you held your peace, God is taking up the battle. Step back, beloved. Step all the way back. You do not need to lift a finger. You do not need to send that text message. You do not need to post that subtle hint on Facebook. This is the season of return to sender. Every curse they spoke over you is acting like a boomerang. It is turning around in the air, and it is heading right back to the source. This is the spiritual law of instant karma. You are about to witness the principle of FAFO. You are about to see them faithfully act out their true nature and finally, faithfully overcome nothing. They are going to reap exactly what they sowed. The tables are turning, and they are turning fast. Those who tried to shame you will be shamed. Those who tried to isolate you will find themselves alone. Those who tried to ruin your reputation will watch as their own secrets are exposed by the light of truth. And the most powerful part, you won't even be happy about their downfall, because you have a good heart. You won't laugh at them. You will just look at it with sadness and realize that God was protecting you all along. You are going to see receipts coming out of nowhere. Evidence will surface. Truths will be revealed. People who believe the lies about you are going to circle back. They are going to come to you and apologize. They are going to say, "I didn't know. I was wrong about you." Your vindication is not going to be whispered. It is going to be loud. God is preparing a table before you in the presence of your enemies. That means they have to watch you eat. They have to watch you be blessed. They have to watch you be happy. They have to watch you shine. And speaking of shining, let's talk about you. Let's talk about the glow-up. You are about to undergo a transformation that is going to confuse people. You have been carrying the weight of grief. Grief makes you look older. Stress makes you look tired. But now that the burden is gone, the glory is returning. You are going to look in the mirror next week, and you are going to see a sparkle in your eye that hasn't been there since you were a child. Your skin is going to look different. Your smile is going to look different. You are going to radiate a peace that passes all understanding. People are going to ask you, "What are you doing? Did you change your makeup? Did you lose weight?" And you will just smile, because you know it isn't makeup. It is the anointing. It is the glory of God shining through your cracks. You have entered God mode. When you are in God mode, you move with grace. You don't rush, you don't panic, you don't chase, you attract. You are becoming a magnet for high-frequency blessings. You are going to notice that your intuition is sharper than a razor blade. You will know things before they happen. You will walk into a room and instantly know who to trust and who to avoid. That isn't paranoia anymore. That is a spiritual asset. That is the Holy Spirit whispering secrets in your ear. You are going to find your tribe. For so long, you were lonely. You were the inner circle of one. But now, God is sending you your people. These are people who have the same top 1% mindset as you. These are people who have walked through the fire too. They won't judge you. They won't drain you. They will pour into you. You are going to have conversations that feed your soul. You are going to laugh until your stomach hurts. You are going to feel a sense of belonging that you thought was impossible. The energy vampires, they can't touch you now. Your light is too bright. They are repelled by it. They are allergic to your joy. So they will naturally fall away. You won't even have to cut them off. They will just stop calling. They will just disappear. Let them go. Do not chase them. Their part in your movie is over. This is your time, warrior. You have spent years living defensively. You have spent years protecting your heart, protecting your peace, protecting your sanity. You have been in survival mode for so long, you forgot what it feels like to live. But the shift has happened. You can put your sword down. The war is over. The victory is won. You are safe. You are protected by divine immunity. Whatever you touch in this season will turn to gold. Whatever you ask for in this season will be given. Whatever you seek, you will find. Because you aren't begging anymore. You are an authorized agent collecting your salary. You are a daughter of the king, claiming her inheritance. This is your reward for not giving up. This is your reward for staying sweet when the world was bitter. This is your reward for crying out to God when nobody else was listening. He heard you, He saw you, and He has rewarded you. So get ready. Open your hands, open your heart, because the windows of heaven are open. And there is not enough room to receive what is about to pour out. Your life was a test. But from this day forward, your life is a testimony. The struggle is history. The blessing is your destiny. Welcome to your vindication season. Welcome to the life you always knew you deserved. Do not dare scroll away without sealing this word into your spirit. The enemy wants to steal this revelation the moment you click away. But God wants you to hold the receipts. You are the generational curse breaker. The trauma stops with you. I stretch my hand out to pray for you right now. Father, I declare that this woman is an authorized agent of your kingdom. I activate her unfair advantage over every obstacle she faces. Let the years of weeping be replaced by a lifetime of harvest. Let her children and grandchildren feast on the fruit of her integrity forever. If you receive this new rank, you must speak it to seize it. Type "I am the exception" or 7727 in the comments right now. By writing this, you are publicly breaking the cycle and evicting the enemy from your bloodline. Your system update is not finished yet. To fully protect your new piece from energy vampires during this shift, the Holy Spirit is leading you directly to this next video on your screen. Click it now to complete what God has started in you.